Hi, welcome to Artsy. I'm your host, Bill Horin. First, I want to thank Jim Quinn for letting me do this show tonight. This is a very special show for me. We're celebrating the 99th birthday of Patt Witt, which is coming up next week, February 10th. And my first guest tonight is Carole Witt Mankin, the executive director of the Barn Studio of Art, and Patt Witt's daughter. Welcome to the show, Carole.
Thank you, Bill. It's so great to be here.
Well, the first thing I want to do is you sent some photos. So I'd like to have them playing while we're talking a little bit about Pat and growing up at the barn and how she got started. So if Ryan can play that first group of photos, there's a slideshow. There's the picture of Pat that we did quite a while ago. That was when we were doing the documentary, actually.
Yeah.
And then you sent me some photos that I put into a slideshow that we should be playing. So these are some photos, kind of a birthday celebration group of photos. I put some balloons in there and the whole bit. So tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up with Patt Witt and the Barn Studio of Art.
Well, I have to say it was a lot of fun. She always made things really fun. And when she first bought the barn in 1962, I was 12 years old, so my recollection of the barn was more about family and not so much around the arts. But she had a vision from the day she walked in there that she wanted to create a fine art school, and that the barn itself, the property, lent itself to that type of environment, the nature and the nature trails and everything. But we did a lot of that. We did a lot of hiking. We did a lot of nature. She was always trying to get us in the studio to do painting and whatever else. She always wanted us to be somehow associated with the arts. So I don't think she failed in that way at all.
So you got involved in the arts as well, and I know your sister did.
My sister was the artist. I actually pulled myself out of the competition. I didn't really want to compete with my mom and my sister, so I took a different path that took me away from the barn for a period of time. But like all good things, you end up back there at the barn. As my mom would say, once you get South Jersey sand in your shoes, you just can't get it out. And that's how it was. I came back to the barn and been there for the last 20 years almost.
Wow, I didn't realize it had been that long.
Yes, exactly.
It's funny, I remember the first time, I've been back in Millville a few years, but I remember I've been photographing your fundraisers. We did the documentary, we did the book, and one day somebody called me a Barney. And I was like proud as could be that somebody referred to me as a Barney, because that's a real honor.
It is. Once you get involved at the barn, you become a Barney, and you'll hear it in our theme all the way through our barn dance. And if once you're associated with the barn in one way or another, you become a Barney. So welcome to the group.
Thank you. And I recently became an ambassador at CU Morris River, so now I got all these titles I wasn't expecting. So let's talk a little bit about Pat and when you were growing up. So Pat was not only a teacher, she's obviously a very well-known painter and all that kind of thing. As far as the teaching aspect of the barn, how did you see Pat as a teacher? What did you think of that aspect of what Pat was doing?
That was the most amazing part. I mean, we look at her art and we think her art is great, but I think her true legacy is going to lie with the teaching, and so importantly so that we have really invested so much into continuing the same methodology that she set up 62 years ago, well, 64 years ago now. But everything that she did there, it's like even coming in, if you come in there to work or volunteer, it's not just about one thing. You're doing everything there. You empty the trash, you paint, you draw, you do the nature walks, you learn about the flowers. Every aspect of the barn, the greenhouse, the studio, the prop room, they're all teaching something to us. Upstairs, the paintings, the museum we call it, the pond, the nature walks. Every aspect of the barn, which she set up, has become some form of providing a teaching lesson.
I still hear from Pat once in a while, and it's amazing. She's concerned with how I'm doing and what's new, and she's always interested, and she motivates me. She keeps me going because, as we do this kind of work, you run into difficulties, you run into things. But I'm always amazed that even at 99, which that's next Tuesday,
Yes.
She's still really on top of that stuff. And how do you feel when you're talking to Pat now? Does she still is she still a big part of what's going on?
She is probably not as much as she used to be, but she did want me to tell you that she's working on her next book, which is called How to Learn to Be Old. Which cracks me up because I said at 99, you think you're still learning lessons, right? But that's how she is. She really... Yes, every day, we still have the teachers circulate through there. They tell her what they're teaching, what the classes are, and most of the teachers all studied under her. So we weren't sure. We were always looking for who's going to be that person to take over Pat's place, who's going to be that teacher. Well, it ends up being 30 people took over Pat's place, because it was so much that she was doing. But she's very much still involved and really key to interacting with the teachers and learning what they're doing and still shedding light on some of the things that she wants to do. In our foyer, when you come into the studio, you'll see there's always a group of paintings hanging. Our great curator, Gay Taylor, always meets with Pat every Tuesday, and they talk about what is going to be the next show in the foyer, what artists are we going to portray, in the studio. So she's still a major part of what's going on.
I still tell the story that when I grew up in Millville, but I never met Pat. When I was growing up, I didn't. By the time I left Millville and everything, I'd never met Pat, even though several people in my family had taken classes there. So when we got into the arts and we just started doing short films and everything that's involved with artsy, we were talking about doing another short film, like a 3-minute, 5-minute. And Patt Witt's name came up. And I said, yeah, I think she'd be great. So I went and met with Pat, and after the conversation, I had my other cinematographer with me and writer, and we said, this can't be a 3-minute film. This has to be an actual documentary. So the Art Spirit became our first real documentary.
Oh, wow.
And there's a photo we have of the first picture we did for the poster. I think, no, that's a nice photo. That was done, these were done for the article that Donna Connor did for the magazine.
Oh, right. That was way before the
That was
Art Spirit.
before the documentary, and I didn't get to meet Pat for that because I didn't do the photos for this one. So then, like I said, years later, I got to meet with Pat, and we decided this is going to be a great documentary. These are some really good photos that Donna Connor did. In fact, she did the cover for the book that we just did. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So we can keep going, Ryan. Nice photo of Pat.
Another major aspect of the barn is mentoring. We like to really mentor and teach our own teachers. I mean, everybody that comes in there ends up teaching in some way or another, but that's all part of this mentoring program that's sort of embedded in Pat's philosophy.
The mentoring program.
Yes.
Yeah. We got a couple more photos before we get. This is one in the actual where you teach. Now that's been redone, I was told. You did some work in there, right?
Well, we painted the floors, we
Okay.
cleaned it up quite a bit, put new cabinets in, so because now we are a 501c3, we can get donations, and a lot of it all goes back into the studio and keeping it vibrant.
And that's the girl that played Pat as a child in the documentary. She was great.
She did a great job. And right now, if you can believe it, we have 20 teens in our teenager class on Friday nights.
Wow.
Which is really remarkable. We're still having that draw in. Most all of our classes are full with a waiting list. And that young lady there, Diana, she actually started as a child, went to PAFA as she graduated from there, and now is back one of our key teachers teaching the teens.
I hear from so many of the artists. We have Strobe, of course, our organization, and so many of them that studied with Pat and went on to, school for art and everything else. They were inspired by studying with Pat. She has inspired a lot of people over the years. This was at an exhibit that you guys had at I believe that was, where was that, the Renaissance Center?
Yeah, it looks like it is.
Could be.
Well, that's part of why I'm
Next.
really want it up.
And
there
that's,
you go.
That's the photo we did as we were starting the documentary. And I remember when we first went to Pat and said, we want to do a documentary about you. She goes, nope. She turned us down.
Oh, my.
She said, I don't want to do it. I don't want a documentary on me. I said, but Pat, it's such a great story. And it took a while to convince her. And one of the things that we brought up in the documentary was the fact that she was dealing with macular degeneration. She didn't want anybody to know about that.
Right.
So she asked us not to do it. But then Sterling, our writer, was talking with her and said, look, you're an inspiration. What you're doing and how you're still painting and teaching and everything you're doing, despite what you're going through, you inspire people. And he convinced her.
Yep.
And I know since then, she's talked to a lot of people dealing with eye problems and macular degeneration, and they are inspired because of having talked with Patt Witt and her saying, this is what I've been going through. This is what I go through, and you can overcome it, or you can deal with it, or you can still create your art. So we have a clip. This is the ending of the original Art Spirit documentary. I took the ending clip.
If you look at Patt Witt's hands, you will see they are strong and supple, the hands of a woman who makes things, and who has done so since her youth. She spent her life observing sunrises, sunsets, and interpreting them on canvas, in paintings where reds and violets light the sky, and also the green marsh. She has painted the same scene thousands of times, and each time seen it differently. And now, though many years have passed, for her the colors still glow. Her hands can still hold someone else's hand and help that person to see at the Barn Studio of Art.
And this would be a good time to have a commercial break. We'll be right back.
For decades, our dad has been a steady, trusted voice here at Mintz Insurance, helping neighbors, not just clients, protect what matters most.
As Dad steps into retirement, one thing stays the same: our commitment to this community.
We're proud to be independent, rooted right here in Millville. No call centers, no runaround, just real people ready to help, just like Dad always did.
Mintz Insurance, built on trust, proud of our past, and ready for what's next.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Are you just part of the crowd?
Do you feel isolated and alone?
Do you wish someone would see your gifts?
Would you like to be seen as an individual?
A person of value.
Full of life and purpose. Part of a family that cares?
For over 90 years, Mintz Insurance has protected what matters most: families, businesses, and futures. Born in South Jersey, we've weathered storms, celebrated milestones, and stood strong with our community every single step of the way. Rooted in tradition, but always moving forward, we invest in the latest technology to deliver faster, smarter coverage solutions without losing that personal touch. Because trust isn't built overnight, It is earned one policy, one promise, one person at a time.
Many people treat their health like a game. With the Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Our mental health services focus on the emotions and behaviors that affect your overall well-being and features psychiatric, counseling, and addiction services, including our exclusive Fresh Start program, designed to help combat the opioid epidemic in our communities, plus all the other specialties you expect from Complete Care. Level up your health with us. The Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great healthcare for everyone.
Hi, welcome back. We're here talking with Carole Witt Mankin about the great Patt Witt, who will be celebrating her 99th birthday next week.
Yes.
So one of the things that we did in conjunction with you and your team is a book called The Art Spirit. So we were the producers of the book, you were the publisher. And I have to say, I am so proud of this book.
It's really
It's an
wonderful.
amazing book. It's Pat's story is in it, and so many of her paintings.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go to all these different locations of people that had bought Pat's work because her work sells.
Mm-hmm.
So we went there. I went there, and I would photograph them behind glass and on walls and whatever, and then I'd make them ready to go into the book. And then we had Sterling Brown, who's written all our documentaries and
Did a
does our
great
voiceovers. Sterling's just an amazing, and he loves Pat.
Yeah.
So he was so happy to be part of this book. So I have a slideshow that we put together of some of the work that I photographed,
Okay.
the paintings for the
That's
book.
great.
So we can talk about her work. So Pat's known for her landscapes, but she does a lot of other different types of work.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that struck me as I was going into different people's homes and seeing how she used the palette and how she created. I mean, it went through different phases. Her work went through different phases. So how would you describe Pat's work? What do you tell people? They ask you, what kind of artist is Patt Witt?
Well, I think everything comes from her heart and from her soul. I mean, as you can see, her love of the Morris River is so evident and obvious in her paintings, and it really has an ethereal effect, in her painting and looking at it. And Bircham Farm, I mean, growing up on the farm, and the Bircham twins, that they were her best friends. That we've been so fortunate all those years to be able to go down there and do landscapes. But I think it's just being grounded, grassroots, being here in this area, and the love of this area, I think, becomes so obvious in her painting. These are from Ozzabal, which you see more of an impressionistic technique that she was experimenting with, but she was doing over the years. But she always has come back to the landscapes, to oil.
I always thought that Pat could, in another life, be a meteorologist because she was so observant of weather. She would
Yes.
tell me, I'd look at a painting, she goes, well, the weather that night, I was looking at the clouds and this, it's just amazing her knowledge of all that stuff. And it all went into her work. It all went into her paintings.
And if you look at the back of her paintings, she writes all that down. She'll say the location, the date, the time, where these things were, what was happening at that moment.
I know that in the documentary, she talked about where she spent a month and she painted these potsherds. And she was painting, I don't know how many.
Bradford's Beach.
Where was it?
Bradford's Beach.
Yes. And one night there was some kind of, what was it they had that night? There was
shooting stars
Shooting
and
stars.
meteor, shower.
She said it was just magical.
Yeah.
But she was out there for a month just painting every day, just painting and painting and painting and making these little, and they're beautiful. The whole collection of those are just so beautiful. And I think there's some of those are in the book too. But I'm looking at this work and just, it amazes
Look at
me.
this. I mean, it's breathtaking.
Yeah. Just being able to see her work like that and then photographing all the places I went to and all the people that collected her work were just raving.
Oh, yeah.
They really appreciated what they got from Pat and the amount of work she put in. So this is part of what Pat's known for, is these kind of paintings. This is her thing.
Exactly. And I think the transition with losing her eyesight was very hard, but as she adjusted to that, accepted it, and moved on, she felt that being creative was more important than anything else, and to keep that creative juices going. So the changes were difficult, and even for her audience of people that love these paintings, these are the favorite ones of most people, but she just kept on going and keeps on thinking about it all the time.
Well, I have to tell you, in my living room is a splatter painting from Patt Witt with a saying on it that she wrote. And I mean, the fact that she knew she couldn't do this kind of work anymore. And she got into the splatter, and she was having a ball. I watched her do one. And I'm thinking, the woman just loves anything to do with paint.
That's right.
And so I proudly have a splatter painting from Patt Witt hanging in my living room, along with some of the other artwork I've been fortunate enough to get.
We embrace
This is one of
them.
the splatter paintings right there. And this is another one. And she described the technique and how she did it, and they would tell her what color's on the brush, and then she'd just, I mean, she's like a kid.
Yes, she was.
It doesn't matter what age Patt Witt is. When she's doing her thing, she's like a kid. And when she's talking about it, that enthusiasm in her has never gone away. I mean, I see it all the time. So, I mean, just watching her work the few times I've gotten to see it and seeing what she's overcome to keep doing what she's done, it's just pretty amazing.
And she's instilled that joyfulness and that youthfulness and what we refer to as magic. You just cling to that magic. I mean, I remember there was a time she interviewed somebody to come work for her down in Ocean City when she was the art director, Marianne Klein. And one of the questions was, do you believe in magic? And people got really stunned by that. They didn't know what to say. But Marianne Klein picked it up and said, of course, what are you talking about? Of course I believe in magic. And obviously she got hired right away. But that's what Pat has carried through all her life. The magic, the blissfulness of creating. And I think that has transcended to not only her kids, but to all the students and to all the many students that are studying there today.
And there's another thing to Pat that a lot of people don't realize is her sense of humor. So I've photographed the barn fundraisers for many years. And then, I don't know, was it 4 or 5 years ago, I believe you called me and said, Pat wants to be an astronaut. I'm like, say what? She says, yeah, she's got an idea. She wants it because she can't go to the fundraiser. She wants to be a presence at it. She wants people to see her at the fundraiser. But she wants to do it as an astronaut. So I went and filmed her as an astronaut and came up with some ideas to how to make it a little different. And I had a ball doing those videos. And then the one afterward. So I'm going to show those two videos.
Oh, great.
Because I love both of these. They were so much fun to do. So the first one is Pat as an astronaut.
And now, an important message from the planet Utopia. Ladies and gentlemen, our leader, Patt Witt.
Good evening, everyone out on Earth. I just wanted to tell you I was on my way, but then I missed the Earth shuttle, and so I missed it by 7 minutes. Can you believe it? But I'm kind of glad I did, because standing next to in the line was Darth Vader and Hal, and I didn't want to be with them. So, as you can imagine. And also, just thanking all of you for being here tonight. And it's going to be a wonderful night with dancing and lovely artwork. Thanking all the artists, and also my pal, Bill Horin, Artsy, who was so kind to take time from space and, come over and film me. And I think you will have a great night. I thank all the artists and everyone for being here. So, dare mighty things, as Theodore Roosevelt said.
Over and out.
So that was the first one. And then the next year, your theme was the barn a barn dance, and Pat wanted to be a cowgirl. So I'm thinking, okay, that should be easy. Here's
Howdy, and welcome to the Barn Dance, celebrating 61 years of the Barn Studio of Art. Before you chow down on some great grub and kick up your heels, we have a few words from the ranch foreman herself, our own bronco-busting Patt Witt.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to the Far Out Ranch. Well, here we are, another year. Anyway, thanking the patrons for keeping the barn going, and the art, all those artists, you know, they are very generous with their art. And without all of you, the barn doors would not be open. And I'm thinking, Bill Horin is our great, wonderful person. He has the Art City Ranch, and he's a short film producer. I mean, he's a tall short film producer. And also, I'd like to tell you about Bob, you know, the music man. He's going to teach you how to do the Barnyard Shuffle tonight. Also, if you want to know where the saloon is, just ask Carole. I got a song I like to sing, and it's a rather sad song, but I think I could get through it. Oh, I'm lonesome in my saddle since my horse died. It is sad, isn't it, folks? Very sad. I could get a new horse by and by, but I don't know where to look for a horse. But maybe I should go to the local corral.
Oh my God.
Is that funny?
Yeah,
that was great.
How to get that. Those are so much fun.
They are.
And I have to say, your fundraisers every year, you do a theme, different theme every year. I have some photos, I think, of some of the ones that I've photographed in the past. But you come up with different themes, and everybody has such a good time at these things. And everybody loves getting dressed up, depending on what the subject is or whatever your theme is. What's your theme this year? I didn't even know.
Well,
it's
we're
the barn dance
repeating
again.
the barn dance because everybody has purchased in the past their hats, their boots. That's a lot of kids. Kandace, you remember that? Yeah.
Kandace is still a kid. She looks just the same.
I know. Olivia. Oh my goodness, David. And so we're doing the barn dance again. We're going to be, because a lot of people have their boots and their hats, and they just...
Oh, no, I think it's a great idea.
It's relaxing.
I think it's a great theme. And so you're honoring Jane and Peter this year.
Yes, we are.
So I've seen them several times in the last few weeks. They're good people. And we're also, I think I may have told you, we're doing a documentary on CU Morris River. Mm-hmm. And I just did a picture of Jane and Carla for a business profile.
Oh, nice. That's great.
So I've been spending some time working with them. And as I said, I'm now an ambassador, which
that is
I'm
awesome.
not going to be out there leading tours of nature, but I am doing other stuff. So I think what we're going to do now is take another commercial break. And when we come back, it's going to be with Kandace Fields Portalatin.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
We're all looking for God. All the signs point to, there is really a God. We try to find Him in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of places, and through all kinds of things. But there's only one way to find Him. That's by personal experience with Him. Come visit us this Sunday. We can introduce you to Him. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
For generations, Mintz Insurance has stood for trust, resilience, and community. And today, that legacy continues. This new generation brings fresh energy and enthusiasm to the same personalized, dependable service and ability to deliver that our clients have known for over 90 years. From Main Street to your street, we're here, local, loyal, and looking ahead.
For decades, our dad has been a steady, trusted voice here at Mintz Insurance, helping neighbors, not just clients, protect what matters most.
As Dad steps into retirement, one thing stays the same: our commitment to this community.
We're proud to be independent, rooted right here in Millville. No call centers, no runaround, just real people ready to help, just like Dad always did.
Mintz Insurance, built on trust, proud of our past, and ready for what's next.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Hi, welcome back. And my next guest is Kandace Fields Portalatin. See, I've always known her as Kandace Fields, so adding the Portalatin, that's a little bit of a stretch for me. So I did say it right the second time. Yeah. So Kandace is a teacher. You're still a teacher out there, right?
A teacher.
But you've been associated with the Barn Studio of Art since you were like a year and a half.
11.
I mean, you don't look any older. I met you like 15 years ago. Oh, she's moving. You got to move in a little bit.
Oh.
There we go. We want to be able to hear you. Oh. So tell us a little bit about how you first got associated with the barn.
I started at the Barn Studio of Art when I was 11. I started, remember Audrey's art supply store?
No.
Oh, well, Millville, or maybe it was in Vineland, but Audrey's art supply store, I used to pick up art books and draw from them. But my grandmother would show them to her boss. And that boss told us about the barn because she had known Pat as her gym teacher when she was in high school. So I went there when I was 11 to the children's Saturday class that I teach now. And from there, started to monitor and then apprentice. And then I was in the teen class and I kept up as an apprentice and really tried to absorb everything from Pat. And then when I graduated high school, I went on to the academy, the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, and then after graduation came back to teach.
Wow. You asked me about an art store. In high school, Sister Mary Margaret said you have absolutely no talent as an artist. I was in the middle of an art class, and I'm trying to draw a vase or something. I forget. So thank God for photography.
You have the eye.
I have it for that. But drawing, not a lick of talent as far as. And that's one reason I have several arts organizations, and I respect people that can really do art. I do not minimize their talent or how hard it is to do it properly. So, okay, so you came back and you went to school for art, and then when did you start teaching at the barn?
While I was still at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, I would come back, I would catch the bus and come back on Friday nights from Philadelphia and come spend time at the barn and help with the teenage class and then the Saturday class. And at that time, I was sort of shadowing everything that Patt Witt was doing, how she was teaching the children, what she would say, when, how she would notice a child sort of have this aha moment and just shift the lesson and adapt it to what would work for what the students were doing at the time. And because I was absorbing all of it, then that's what I was learning, those things. So it wasn't just like, here's the paperwork to how to teach this. It was absorb it, watch, and really see that wonder in a child's eye and try and maintain it and cultivate that sense of wonder.
You once, when we did the documentary, you described Pat's method of teaching. So tell us a little bit again, what is her method of teaching?
Pat has this ability to create an atmosphere.
Okay.
And I think that's what I was taught through watching. So it's the atmosphere of what the barn is when you walk in. And this non-competitive environment.
That's the word.
Where you are free to express yourself, but within the lines of gaining skill and technique and mastery of something, but non-competitive. So you have the space to have a sense of wonder. You have the space to, as her mentor, Morris Blackburn said, dare to be lousy. I mean, the barn has no erasers in it. And when I was in high school, we tried to hide some erasers. But when you don't have one, you learn to make a decision to carry on, to work around and adapt with the mistakes and turn them into something else. And otherwise, you're faced with constantly erasing each thing you've done, or you give up.
I have to tell you, I dare to be lousy all the time. I think if you're afraid of making mistakes, I think that's a part of a problem. I remember when I taught photography, and back then it was film. People were actually shooting film, which I do not do anymore. I have no desire to do that anymore. But I had one student come up to me, and he said, you know, on a roll of 36, I like 35 of my pictures. I said, well, you're doing something wrong, dude. You're not taking any chances. You're not making any mistakes. You learn from making mistakes. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you're not trying anything new, and you're not making any mistakes, you're stuck. You're not going to go anywhere. And I think that's kind of true with artists as well, do you think?
Yeah, to be daring, to gain creativity, to learn to ask questions of yourself. And that's why Pat uses the Socratic method. We would ask her a question, and she would respond to us with a question. Why? Because you likely already know the answer, but you're not questioning. You're not returning to that. And we live in an age where children are often just immediately given an answer. There was no time to wonder, no time to have a sense of gaining the knowledge for yourself through experience, through exploration, through the mistakes, through the accidents. But Pat opened all of it up and created that atmosphere where everyone does it. And we're still faced with it today. The children come in and they are hunting for an eraser. Something's wrong with this pencil. Someone has removed the eraser. And I've checked all 20 of them. And you see them after about week 3, some complaints, but they start to dare to explore, to add other mediums, to share. It builds a sense of community. That's why I feel like Patt Witt's sense of place that you saw with her return to the marshland, to the wetlands, that same sense of place she had within her own community. And the same community that within the barn through all of these years of adapting, but maintaining the sense of place, the sense of wonder that the barn is, that it shifts. We still have like her sense of place rooting it. And that's where people go. I mean, when I was in school, I didn't have a lot of friends. But once you get to the barn, because of that non-competitive environment where everyone is trying to explore something, you meet your group. And then it crosses ages. It crosses all boundaries. You could be 6 and be friends with one of the 60-year-olds in the adult class when you meet them at art day.
One thing I've noticed with anyone associated with the barn is their enthusiasm. It's like there's an energy there. Pat once told me there's a magic ring around the barn or something where bad stuff can't get in and all this other stuff. And I think most people there actually believe that. They believe that the barn, and it is special. There's no question about it. And I should have asked Carole this, but what do you see for the future of the barn? I mean, you've been there quite a while. You've seen the changes. You've seen things. But I think most things I've seen so far have been positive changes. But what do you see for the future?
I think that the maintenance of the philosophy that Pat has, I think the best thing Patt Witt ever did was create a philosophy for how the barn works. Because times change. people don't think the same way they do as they did in 1962 when she started. They don't think the same way they do as in 1980, 90s, and so on. So that shifts. But the philosophy that everyone gets as they enter into the barn and start to sort of sink into the belonging there, sink into the fact that, everyone at the barn isn't someone's a mathematician, someone else is, a glass blower, this one's a lawyer, and we're all molding ourselves around the same spot. But the philosophy that we understand is one. So even as I bring in interns from Rowan College of South Jersey, and they start to learn and absorb that philosophy, they guard it. You want to guard it with your heart. The same way we do with, being patriotic about where you've come from. You can have a form of, patriotism for the barn, for that place, the same way that an academy had it, the same way that a guild had it. It's like carrying on a tradition in the arts where you were trained. Like, this was my master, or how she'll talk about her mentor, Blackburn. Pat as my mentor, and you carry on the lineage as it passes down. Everyone that is setting foot in the barn, to the little 3-year-olds that are there on Saturday, is carrying on that lineage. And I think as long as we have her bubble wrapped around that, we're good. It'll continue.
So how does Pat feel about turning 99? Does she talk about it?
She hasn't talked to me.
That's a milestone. It really is. She doesn't talk to you?
She hasn't talked to me about turning 99 exactly, but I'll be like, yeah, your birthday's coming up, something like that. And she's like, I know. I think there's more of like a shock of like 99.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. I mean, I don't talk to her like I used to. It used to be at least once every couple of weeks we'd have a really in-depth conversation. And I know she's not up for that as much. But when she does call me, it's great conversations. I mean, I get so much from her still, and I've told Carole the same thing. She still inspires me, and we've done so many things with the barn. And I always look forward to the barn fundraiser, which you have one coming up. And Ryan's going to show us some photos from some previous fundraisers, so we can talk about the fundraiser a little bit. This was the first one that we actually photographed where people dressed like artists.
Yeah.
And I know you were at that one.
I was.
You've been at all of them, haven't you?
I have.
We can keep going.
They're all a good time. I was at that one, yes.
This one.
We were in
space.
This
brought out some unique outfits. I have to say, I had a good time photographing this one.
You could love that. We're all so glad to participate.
Here's one of your teachers who's been there. That's yes, Matt.
Matt Daniels.
He's been there he teaches at the high school, but he's been with you guys for such a long time.
Yeah.
And he's a good guy. He's a good teacher.
He is. A great artist, a great teacher. And that too, Pat has a way of finding.
There's Diane from the Renaissance Center.
Yes.
She's a barn. She used to live next door to Pat.
Yes, I remember.
And she talks about Pat all the time.
We had a galactic night.
It was the star.
Melinda, the horizon.
I don't know where they came up with some of these.
I know. You can tell the creativity that you said, about Pat. That bubbling childhood. These are obviously childlike people.
They do not want to show up and not show their creativity. They don't want to be outdone by other people.
No.
That are at the event.
Oh,
there she is. We had to get her in there at least once.
Yes, and it's so exciting that night to be together, to be in the community of.
So I have the card here for the next one. The date is March 21st.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you still have tickets available, Carole, am I right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, they should contact the barn and Carole and, buy tickets. It's always a great time.
It really is.
Even if you're not a Barney, I mean, the music, the food, and plus the auction items.
Yes.
I mean, I'm always amazed at what some people are offering at the auction.
The variety.
And the quality and some of the name artists that are there.
Yes.
So, as a teacher at the barn, I mean, you guys have some great teachers there.
We do.
And who are some of the teachers that I know Larry Francis is one of your teachers.
Yes.
I love the guy's work.
Yes.
I got to tell you, I think he's a really talented artist. So he's been teaching there for a while now. Who are some of the other teachers you have at the barn right now?
We have Betsy Tasker teaching the adult classes Wednesday and Thursday. And we have Diana Colpin teaching Friday nights. And that's the teens class. And I'm Saturday children's morning and afternoon class. And we have Sandy Smith heading the outreach, so she's going to different schools, including the schools bringing in the tiny tots pre-K into the barn. And then we have the Morris River Workshop, which includes different hosted teachers at that time. Usually we'll have Larry Francis or Jill Rapinski. We've had, who was it last year? Elena? Shackleton. Yes, Shackleton, because it changed last year. So we have a nice mix of teachers, all that understand the philosophy. That's the greatest part, to make sure that that's maintained. And with the Morris River Workshop and other workshops that are held at the barn, it maintains this lineage connection to the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, where Patt Witt's mentor, Morse Blackburn, and Pat going there. So it keeps this link. And the Academy is the oldest art school in the United States. And having the Barnes connection there keeps hold of that maintaining of the line of lineage that we're passing down from the barn, and that the one that goes back to the old masters and crosses over to Europe, and we see it keep going and going and going.
Speaking of the masters, we're due for a commercial break. I don't know how that segues at all.
Are you just part of the crowd?
Do you feel isolated and alone?
Do you wish someone would see your gifts?
Would you like to be seen as an individual?
A person of value.
Full of life and purpose? Part of a family that cares?
For over 90 years, Mintz Insurance has protected what matters most: families, businesses, and futures. Born in South Jersey, we've weathered storms, celebrated milestones, and stood strong with our community every single step of the way. Rooted in tradition, but always moving forward, we invest in the latest technology to deliver faster, smarter coverage solutions without losing that personal touch. Because trust isn't built overnight, it is earned. One policy, one promise, one person at a time.
Many people treat their health like a game. With the Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Our mental health services focus on the emotions and behaviors that affect your overall well-being and features psychiatric, counseling, and addiction services, including our exclusive Fresh Start program, designed to help combat the opioid epidemic in our communities, plus all the other specialties you expect from Complete Care. Level up your health with us. The Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great healthcare for everyone.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
We're all looking for God. All the signs point to there is really a God. We try to find him in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of places, and through all kinds of things. But there's only one way to find him. That's by personal experience with him. Come visit us this Sunday. We can introduce you to him. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Bill Horin, and I'm here with Kandace Fields Portalatin. I'm glad when I get a last name right. You should have seen the first time I had to say Dory Papamaditriou. Oh my God. she stopped me mid-sentence and said, you said my name wrong. I'm like, okay. So anyway, I feel good that I got your name right. So we're talking about the Barn Studio of Art and Patt Witt's upcoming 99th birthday. And the number of years, I mean, she started this in 1962, I believe.
Yes.
When she bought it from her aunt. I think she bought the barn from her aunt and decided she wanted to make it into a teaching facility.
Right.
And what she's done over the years with the barn has just been amazing. It's just, and it's right here in Millville.
Right.
And I don't think it gets enough recognition, in my opinion. I think the city doesn't quite give it the recognition it deserves. So tell us a little bit more about some of the things you have coming up at the barn. You're going to be the spokesperson for this tonight. So,
well, we have our upcoming barn dance, which will be March 21st. It's always a great night, as you've seen some of the pictures of years past.
I took those pictures.
Yes, you participated in the night.
I'm there. I've been there.
We always have fun dancing and doing all of that. And we have a great variety of works in our auction, and that's all donated for us to be able to support funding our scholarship programs, our outreach program, which Pat started many, many years ago, believing that every child should have the chance to be absorbed in the arts. And even now with Sandy Smith doing this, the children get art. They get a touch of ballet from Promise Smith, a ballerina with the Atlantic City Ballet. They have access to learn about a new artist, and they get to experience sort of just this new world, and you can see the wonder on their faces. And it's been going on for years now.
The first time I filmed Pat, she was leading a nature walk. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing. The kids were so enthralled and so involved with this nature walk because Pat just made it magical.
Oh, yeah.
And the nature is such a big part of what you do. And there was a picture there's Pat with the nature walk.
Yes.
There was a picture up recently with Jane Galetto. And I know, Peter, you guys now have a new, what do you have, a new greenhouse?
It's a new greenhouse, yeah.
Which I haven't seen it yet. I'm coming back to do some photos and some filming of the new greenhouse. But I ran into Peter a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about it and how one thing led to another, and this happened and that. And he's very proud of your new greenhouse, so I'm hoping you guys are as well.
Oh, it's a beautiful addition. And it's allowed us to do many different things. I've been calling part of it, the flex room, because it flexes into different things. We've made it into an extension to the pottery room one day. Another day, maybe the children are learning a little bit of origami, or we've extended it so that we're meeting in there, or we had a potter's workshop was held there, and there were potters going throughout the original pottery room into that building, into that flex room, and spilling into the greenhouse. So there was all of this use of the space, and to see, potters sort of kneading clay and these beautiful plants in the background. So the space has welcomed this new growth, this new shifting and adaptability, where the barn has always shifted how different spaces are used, yet you can feel, that it's the same thing. And we've been so steady with our students and having space for them to flourish. And I'm really thankful for what Pete was able to do with that space and how we're able to just, warm up, into it and settle into it, and the many ways we could use it.
So how is Pat still involved?
Well, when you asked me, if I talk to her about her upcoming birthday, usually I go up and I have to report.
You report
what
to Pat.
I have taught.
See, that
so I
makes sense.
come up after classes and we have a little meeting, and I talk to her about what we went over that day, what we went over with the nature walk, because yes, nature walks are very important, and it engages everything from a child's senses. Pat's always having a child touch with 2 hands, smell it, look at it, really get a sense of it. And her teaching that to me, I make sure I do the same thing with the children. And now you can see how much more they're enthralled in it, because kids aren't outside very much anymore. But at the barn and in the children's classes, we go outside every Saturday, just without fail. We are out.
Wait a minute, in this weather?
Yes. We make a
Good
loop,
for you.
and we are out. And they experience it, and they're more aware of sort of the changing of their own environment. And it's great to see it, where they're like, oh, I know that about that pine tree, because we learn about certain names, or we'll take out the bird book with us. They know the trees on the property, the flowers on the property, and they learn it over time. And you can see sort of how a child is proud as they've been there for years. And they can see how they're trying to be the model for the younger student that's coming in, and giving them the opportunity to still play and learn, because we don't just give the answer even on a nature walk. We play with words.
I was going to ask you to play your song. You have a song prepared but we're not going to do that tonight. We're going to keep it a surprise. I'm assuming it's going to be played at the fundraiser, right?
I guess so. Everyone seems to like it. So
yeah,
it looks like it's going to happen.
So do you want me to incorporate it into the video I'm doing? Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Because I'm going to prepare the video, change it up a little bit, so you'll have something to play at this coming fundraiser. So that's going to be kind of fun. I like your song, by the way. That was good.
But there's another reason to get your ticket, if you want to hear this song.
There you go. That's a very good reason to get your ticket. So let's end. I want to talk a little bit about your artwork. We didn't talk about that, and I don't have any examples of it. It's kind of one reason I wasn't bringing it up. But how would you describe yourself as an artist?
Well, I would say I'm a printmaker, which I remember when I was in college at the academy, calling Pat to tell her I wasn't going to be a painter, and feeling kind of nervous about it, as if for some reason she would expect me to be a painter. Okay. But she was fine. She said, oh, Morris Blackburn made prints and everything. That's great. Really excited about it. And I love the process of prints. There's all of these different techniques of creating. I love that I could create a woodcut or a linoleum or a lithography, which is planographic, just that oil and water repel each other. And I like to combine the act of just the process orientation of printmaking with the idea of trying to tell a story. So a lot of my work is didactic and sort of having the quality of trying to reveal some information and have people think, or it isn't exactly what you thought it was when you first looked at it, but as you sit with it, you see what's being revealed. And I think that's interesting to me because I like a good story. I think storytelling is good.
I think that's the reason I do documentaries. I want to be able to tell a story. And we're going to end on that note. But I do want to say, Pat, happy birthday. I'm going to call you. Hopefully you have a great birthday. You're surrounded by so many good people that I'm sure are going to make it a very special birthday for you. This has been Artsy with Bill Horin. Thanks for watching.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.